Taylor, I think you just said everything I was going to say, so we can just make this quick. But yeah, my name is Kyle Pinnell, and a little bit of background, a little more background. I'm from Portland, Oregon originally, went to the University of Missouri, and then moved here last February to take that job with Phoenix Rising. So, thinking about what I wanted to touch on tonight, and one word just continued to come into my head, and that was just community. Just in every different facet, you hear a lot in the church about how, live life together, and that's a phrase I've heard throughout college, throughout showing up in Bible studies and groups, and I'm like, what does that mean? And it's something that you hear preached a lot when I'm in a very busy season, and I have a full-time job, I don't know what that looks like for me. And now I finally understand it, getting my first full-time job and really having the opportunity to work in soccer and then have the afternoons. So yeah, I think I have to start with pickleball. Nothing at ISI can not involve talking about it a little bit, and that's where I really start to first see this community being built and what that looks like. For a little bit of context there, every Tuesday night, about 30, 40, I think sometimes 50 people will show up at Webster Recreation down in Mesa, and really it's 2.5 hours of pickleball, and I'm there for an hour and a half, and maybe I play 3 or 4 games. But you see this community of people from all over the world. I think that's really what left a lasting impression for me. Because again, I play maybe 1 or 2 games in an hour, and the rest of the time you get to know people. You get to go and have conversations, and the first couple of times, maybe you know 2 people, you continue to go, 3, 4, 5, and then you're just kind of getting to know their story. And there's people with all different backgrounds and thousands of miles from home, further than Portland to Phoenix, but you're talking about people from the other side of the world, from Asia, from India, from Africa, Central and South America. I mean, I think for me that's the first thing that stood out at ISI, is having these conversations and learning the value of community for them especially, and just how that's impacted me. And I always tell this to them, but they're some of the smartest people you'll know. As a journalism major, it's pretty much aeronautical engineering, IT, STEM, programming. It's just incredible, and you really realize how much it takes to even spend a couple of years here just studying and not knowing what comes next, or visa situations, or what everything looks like for them. So that's the first event that I've seen community at here, and that ISI has really created, and what I've seen. The other are those Sunday get-togethers that Taylor mentioned, and the really cool thing about that is you have a group of people who come every single time they open their homes on the Sundays, and another group of people, a lot of rotating international students and young adults as well. So you'll hear one side of the table conversing about water policies and animal comparisons between like Malawi and Ethiopia and Uganda, and then the other side talking about that Sunday's football slate. And I think it's really, really cool to be in that type of environment and to see that community being formed week over week. And going from there, I mean, touching on pickleball, again, one of the best parts is twice a month, a group of 8 or 10 of us go from pickleball over to the Mehners again for a Bible study late at night. And you really get to hear, again, cultures, different perspectives about different people's lives in a really meaningful way, and diving deeper into faith. So you have people who come with such a strong faith background from home and want to continue growing in that way. You have people who come from cultures where they know Jesus and they know a little bit of the gospel, but culturally Christianity isn't number one, and they're there to learn. And then there's people who just don't know Jesus and come and really feel that sense of community and want that and want to know more, and will just sit and reflect and listen, and sometimes we'll just talk through questions that they ask. And an entire night we spent trying to answer and figure out questions and what that means in our lives, how we've seen it. So those are the nights that stick with me in being involved. So I start off with community as to say, like, these pickleball, the Sundays, they create an environment of a lot of people, but you really got to take advantage in what are you doing with it. How are you diving deeper into those relationships? And I just have a couple of really, really fun stories. Taylor, you mentioned the one on the Rising game. I was here for, I think, just a month, and you get to talking to students at pickleball, and soccer is such an international game, and I remember like, hey, I have a few extra tickets for Rising playing this weekend, would you like to go? I think I gave out 3 or 4. Flash forward to that night or a couple nights later, and there were 10 or 11 people there, I want to say. I gave out 4 tickets, but from all over the world, they invited their friends, and I was getting pictures sent after the game of how much fun everyone was having, and just to see that. And I know Aaron, Taylor, you said to me after, like, that's a lot. Like, nobody's done that, and for me, it was just part of living life in a way where I got to have conversations about soccer, and then it was like, hey, would you like to come out to a match? And then going to pickleball the next week, we talked about that. I had one of the students, his name's Wu Bei, he was breaking down Phoenix Rising soccer in a way that none of our journalists that I work with can even do, critiques and everything, so that was really cool for me. A couple of weeks later, just going with a group of 10, 12 people to go watch the Champions League final on a Saturday morning, and going to an ASU women's soccer game a little after that. I mean, there's so many opportunities, I would say, that starts with this overall community that is being built week over week, that you can kind of spur off and go and do things like that. So that's been a lot of what my experience here has been. I know a lot of you guys who do the full-time ministry, I don't know how you do it with the social battery. You kind of need to organize everything and to host all these Bible studies and to, the driving, like everything you guys do day over day and full-time. And, for me, I get to come in and have fun, but to interact with a lot of these students. And so it's more than just the pickleball, it's more than the Sunday group sessions. It's, inviting people over or going to dinner with somebody after work when you only have an hour. It's about getting coffee on a weekend morning, and you hear a lot about how much community means to the students themselves. I'm sure you'll hear more about that tonight. Just to have somewhere on a Sunday to go for 2 or 3 hours, someone to talk with beyond what is just ISI event. So I think for me, that's what stood out a lot. I've had, just hearing people make plans to go have coffee and work remotely on a weekday together. There's this bigger community. So again, when asked to speak and what have I really done beyond play pickleball, go and be at a Bible study and be available, I'm really starting to understand what it looks like to live life, to take advantage of an overarching community of students with incredible stories and backgrounds, and every single afternoon, and to look forward to the rhythms of life with them and to hear more about how they live. So, there's opportunities to do that. Again, it doesn't feel like volunteering for me, but living life and to see the impact it has, even if I don't see it, but people around me do it. It's really just an incredible thing. So I'm very thankful to be here speaking a little bit about this last year, and I could probably speak another 10 or 15 minutes about all the different experiences and conversations I've had. So feel free to come up to me if you ever see me, but I'm just so grateful to be here and asked to speak.